So for this video, I'm going to do a review of one of the training courses that's available through Blender Market. So if you do Blender and you're trying to learn how to do texturing and you want to learn some more advanced techniques and get really advanced and in the weeds when it comes to texturing, I can highly recommend this course by Creative Shrimp that does a procedural texturing course, Blender Masterclass. So it's available for 30 bucks on Blender Market. Creative Shrimp has been around for a very long time. They've run this for a bunch of different versions of this, but I will say do not get scared away by the fact that it says for software version 2.93 because I ran mine on version 4.3 and there was only one or two differences that were not available. So one thing was the viewer node was different that was in the shader editor, and then there was one other node towards the end that was different, but it was easily fixable just with a little searching. So overall, I want to first say that this course is really good. Like if you actually go through, he's going to walk you through start to finish about how to build this from the ground up. So I'm going to flip over to Blender here so you can see it. So this is basically the wall that you end up creating. And what it is that it's going to be a procedural wall. Like it's fully procedural. You don't do any sculpting. You don't do any modeling at all. Everything is with nodes. Now the one that I've got here is not perfect, but if you can see it, this is in cycles. You'll see that these bricks are actually pushed out from each other. The mortar has a different grit to it all the way around. It's got moss growing on here. It's got lichens. It's got all kinds of crazy stuff. It's got rows that are offset from each other. It's got bricks that are turned sideways. So this is like a old style, poorly constructed brick wall that's kind of worn over time, and by the time that you get done with it, you're going to be able to create these different groupings to where you can come in here and you can change the brick size if you want. You can change the mortar size if you want maybe the mortar to be overgrowing some of the bricks and stuff like that. You can take and you can make it a little bit less grungy or more grungy with more lichens and everything. You can reduce the texturing of the moss or make it higher. You can change where the moss is growing and how much moss there is, which I think is really cool that you can do that. You can go through, you can change the moss color if you want to darken it, lighten it. You can change all the different aspects of the moss, like what's the thickness of it, the volume of it. Like you can make the moss like completely overgrown, or you can have it be like just barely there, barely visible. Okay, you can do all kinds of stuff. They teach you how to make water dripping to get all sorts of different aspects to it. So it's really cool. Now I will say a couple different things about the lesson. You should probably know a little bit about texturing and shading. Because once you get going, like in the beginning he goes pretty slow, but then he starts speeding up, and so you got to kind of keep up. I highly recommend making sure that you do your quick favorites. If you don't know what quick favorites are, it's basically when you're in any different area of Blender, you can come in here and you can add quick favorites. And by what I mean by that is, like, let's say that you're adding in a Voronoi texture. Okay, so I added in a Voronoi texture and I wanted to be able to add in a color ramp, but I don't want to have to keep doing this over and over again. What I can do is I can pull up color ramp. Okay, I hit F3 just to do a search. I pull up color ramp, but before I click on it, if I hit right click on it, it would have an option that says add to quick favorites. Okay, I already have it in there, so that's why it says remove. But now, if I were able to go into my quick favorites, I can actually just come in here and find my color ramp. And there it is. So I pick out the ones that I use the most. So I will highly recommend when you come in and you do it, make sure you put these in there. You use a million math nodes, a million vector math, a bunch of noise textures, a bunch of these different ones. So I highly recommend you put in quick favorites. It will save you lots of time when you're doing this. But it's really cool, fully procedural. Like I said, you don't do any sculpting. It starts out slow and you feel like you're getting nowhere in the beginning, and then once you get going, it gets ramped up and looks really cool. So it does take a long time to do. So the course itself, I think, is like 4 hours. It probably took me like 10 to go through and do it, but I am by no means an expert at all on it, but I definitely feel a lot better now. And when you look at it, I'm just going to tab over so you can see real quick. This is the node editor. These are all the nodes you add in, and they're all grouped and labeled and all kinds of stuff. So this is a lot of, it looks like a lot of craziness that's in here. You know, and I had to use his model at the end to like redo all the wiring, because your wiring becomes real messy. If you saw my original one, it's like all over the place. But as a whole, it's really cool. And then you can use this in the future to do other things. And this works for both EV and cycles. And like I said, it doesn't matter what version you're using, because I use 4.3 and it didn't have any problems doing it. So, and you'll see it just looks really, really good. So I will say overall, the instructor's really good. He's easy to understand. He explains everything very in depth. There's lots of videos that you can go through and watch afterwards that I highly recommend doing, because there's a lot of off-topic stuff. He goes through and explains all the different nodes, why you use math nodes, why you use, you know, vector math nodes, like what it means to separate the colors, why you have different channels for things. So there's a lot. I learned a ton, and I've done a bunch of texturing, but I learned a lot with this. So I highly recommend people doing it. It's not the easiest course, but if you get through it, at the end, he gives you all the files. So even if yours comes out completely messed up and you learn some stuff along the way, you can go through and use his full file at the end. And it's super easy to be able to do. And then, like I said, you can just come in here and you'll have this at the end where you can just go through and update and edit it. So like I said, and you can put it onto other objects. So he shows you how to change it to the UV coordinates. So you can just put this on whatever object you want. So this is just a regular cube, and I can change the size of everything if I want to, and, you know, make the brick size smaller and the mortar smaller and everything else. You know, however I want to do this when I'm coming in here. So, you know, it's just really, really cool texturing and stuff like that. You're going to learn a lot. They teach you how to put cracks and everything in there. So hopefully this video gives you some motivation to go out and get the $30 training from Creative Shrimp. I highly recommend it. It will definitely, you will learn a lot, I can promise, if you're trying to learn about texturing. So that's just a quick review. I'm not sponsored by them or Blender Market or anybody else. It's something that I enjoyed doing, so I wanted to share it with everybody else. Thanks.